Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 3. This is my F1 22 modded Myteam career mode here in my alternate F1 universe. If you did miss last episode at the Mexican Grand Prix, be sure to go and check that one out. We had a battle kind of all race long with Yuki Tsunoda, and it were pretty awesome actually. Lots of chaos as well. So yeah, be sure to go and check that one out. But we start off just by filling out the activity timeline. In terms of R&D, all the kind of upgrade slots that we could possibly use, we have an upgrade incoming, so that's good. In terms of the standings, P9 in the drivers, P6 in the constructors, with 6 points after his points finish in Mexico. Spoiler alert there. But yeah, with a load of cars retiring, we kind of took advantage of that. But we have a department event here, and we need to choose a rival. Now, if I'd have known what were going to happen this episode, I'd have probably chose someone different, but we go with Lance Stroll for now. I think that's who we're kind of closest to on the performance comparison chart, so that makes sense, and probably a bit easier to win. But we have an upgrade fail, which is quite annoying, and that were a chassis upgrade, the weight reduction upgrade, so we're going to have to repurchase that. And that should come in then for, I believe, the Grand Prix after this, which will be the Canadian Grand Prix. As engine power upgrade does, however, come in, so that's going to be very important. Remember, as engine was the weakest part of our package, we're now right up there with Red Bull Honda, so the V6s are kind of fighting back against the V8s. The V10's still right at the top, but not very reliable, as we saw in last episode, so we'll see what happens going into the next one. But we have another upgrade fail, and that was our front downforce upgrade. We started off with a rear downforce upgrade, so I got the front downforce to try and kind of balance that one out, but it's another one we're going to have to repurchase, but that will come in for the Canadian Grand Prix after this one. Thankfully, our weight redistribution upgrade does come in, as does our reliability upgrade. So some upgrades do come in. We are going to have, we are going to move forward into this race on the performance comparison chart. Speaking of which, here it is. We actually, we actually get quite close to Jaguar now. Then. So, yeah, maybe I should have chose Yuki Tsunoda as his rival. We'll have to see what happens and keep an eye on how that develops through the season. But we go into qualifying then for our first, or last run, should I say, in Q1. Right at the end of the session, fresh set of tyres, low fuel, and let's see what we can do around Kota. Yeah, I kind of have a bit of a love-hate with this track. I don't mind Sector 1. Sector 2's kind of alright, and then Sector 3 is just horrible. I hate it. But we come into this kind of first sector with these sweeping corners, compared a lot to Maggots and Beckett's from Silverstone. I can kind of understand why, but it's not as good as Maggots and Beckett's. Let's be honest. It's it's just not as flowing, I don't think. But it's still a decent enough section of track when you get it right. You kind of feel like a hero when you get it right and a complete idiot when you get it wrong, so normally more of the latter for me. But we go around the hairpin then as we go down this really long back straight, DRS open. This is probably where we're going to be looking to make most of us overtakes come race day, into another hairpin at the end of this sector. It's very wide, is this track, so a massive bit of oversteer there, drifting around the corner. That's not going to really help us lap time out, but as we come round this last sector, we actually gain a whole load of time as we come round this really tight left-hander. I still don't know how to take that corner properly, so yeah, I really struggle with this last sector. And then you have this almost flat-out section, if you're careful. It won't be flat-out come race day with the fuel and harder compounded tyres, but we come round the last corner, and we've actually gained just over a second on the delta there, so we'll see where that puts us. And much to my surprise, that puts us right up in P10, so for the first time this season we get into Q2. So we can go out then for another lap in Q2. No banker lap this time, we just waited till the end and went straight out and see what we can do then, just to save a set of tyres if we can. And obviously we only have 3 tyre sets at this point, so you don't unlock the other one unless you get into Q3, that is. But really messing up this first section, this is what I mean. You feel like a hero when you get it right, and you feel like an idiot when you get it wrong, and that was just all sorts of wrong through there. But there's not much we can do about it. We have to carry on, as this session is coming to an end. Towards the end of Sector 1 then, into the tight hairpin, very wide track again, like I say. And we power down this back straight and get the rear wing open. And I'm not sure whereabouts we're going to finish, but we've got Albon up there in Q2 as well, so a couple of the slower cars making it into Q2, so maybe, I don't know, maybe there were a lot of traffic for the other guys or something. But as we come round then this final sector, again round this corner that I never know how to do. I take it like a double apex corner, but I think the AI go wide and kind of cut in a bit more. But we come round this last corner and we absolutely bottle it. Remember what I said, it's flat out if you're careful. Well, I wasn't careful. And the rear goes round and we absolutely bottle our first Q2 appearance. So yeah, that's going to be P16 on the grid for us. Not the end of the world, but it is quite disappointing. I think we could have done better there. But let's go into the Grand Prix.
Welcome once again then to the United States Grand Prix here in the magnificent city of Austin. It was here in 2018 that Kimi Räikkönen delighted the world by taking the top step of the podium for the first time in 114 races. There's always a record to be broken, so what, I wonder, is in store for us here today? We have 10 turns to the left and 10 turns to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and turn 12 at this anti-clockwise track. It's 3.6 miles long and we should see average lap speeds of around 126 miles per hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Leclerc, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, and Esteban Ocon, Magnussen, Bottas, Pierre Gasly, and Mick Schumacher, Albon, Evans, Guan Yu Zhou, and Sebastian Vettel, Nissany, Stroll, Latifi, and Yuki Tsunoda. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Alright, so in terms of strategy, we are just going to do the one stop, but we're going to kind of flip it around, start on the hard tyres, then go on to the mediums. It is quite a high tyre wear track, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that, but we'll see what happens. The hard tyres are very slow, the tyre deltas, it feels like it's massive here, but anyway, those 5 red lights go out and away we go then for the USA Grand Prix here in Austin, Texas. And that's what I mean about the hard tyres, we just don't get off the line, and it's another catastrophic race start for us. But there's one of the Jaguars absolutely sending it. I think that were Yuki Tsunoda absolutely sent it there on lap 1, and once again, for the 3rd race in a row, we end up at the back of the grid, coming out of T1. I don't know what it is in this season when me and race starts, but it just doesn't, it's just not happening for me. So a lot of work to do then, even after starting all the way up in P16. We've lost out 6 places at the start of this race, not ideal, but as we come down the back straight, we've got a couple of guys battling it out already. Latifi on soft tyres is going for a 2-stop, and we look to just nip round the outside of this little gaggle there of Latifi and our teammate Tsunoda. Sorry, that's not Latifi, that's Lance Stroll in the Toyota, but we get 2 overtakes for 1 there, so back up into P20. I'll hold it defensive round here, and like I said, my line's a lot tighter around there. I'll go for like a double apex kind of deal, but anyway, we can go then chasing after that man Yuki Tsunoda in the Jaguar, and we'll see if we end up having another ding dong with him as we come into the final corner then. And yeah, lap 1 we finish pretty safe, but up ahead of us going on to lap 2, this is Lando Norris. He just clips the back of Magnussen, and that's going to be him out of this race already on lap 2, and it's caused some massive chaos. Once again we have a safety car here for the 3rd race in a row. A lot of things happening. These AI absolutely crazy. So yeah, that's Lando Norris out of this race, and we're going to have a safety car then. We're up in P17, so we made up a couple of positions in all the chaos there, and I think one of the Ferraris ended up coming into pit as well. So I think that was Sainz actually, who started on pole, so that's unfortunate for him, but I think he got some wing damage or something and had to come into the pits. But we continue on then, on to lap 5. The race restarts. Now we've got Albon and Stroll up ahead of us, so we'll be looking to make a move on them. It's going to be tough though on these hard tyres. But like I say, the tyre delta is huge, and you can see around this first sector we just don't have the same grip, especially while the tyres are still a little bit cold from being behind the safety car for a couple of laps. But we just don't have the same amount of grip as what these guys do on the mediums. They are still bunched up a little bit though, so we could potentially be looking to make a move. But you see, out of that left-hander there's just no grip for me whatsoever, and that invites our teammate Roy Nissany, the rookie in F1. He sends it up the inside. We give him the space. I don't want to I don't want to end both of his races, as I think he had a DNF already this season. But we're going to go and look to re-overtake him then down the back straight. Plenty of ERSUs using the slipstream as well on his teammate. We brake hard, but like I say, we just don't have the same grip as he does on those tyres. And there's Sainz behind us with Schumacher kind of separating us. But we just have to press on and see if we can make up some more positions. We are up into P14 after that safety car restart though, so we're not doing so bad actually. Now we'll just have to see how this plays out. But Sainz, he's on the attack now, and yeah, I don't think we're going to hold on to him for the rest of this race. So I'm just going to kind of take the race in line, not do anything like, not do anything too crazy to defend from him. And yeah, if he sends it, I'm just going to let him through. But as we come around this long kind of right-hander, that's where you see the massive difference in pace between the two cars. And on the left-hander, that's where he's going to send it. So we kind of just wave him through, and we're actually going to use him as a bit of a kind of horse to his carriage to pull us along and re-catch Nissany. Obviously his teammate, he's on the mediums, so yeah. And speaking of Sainz, actually, here we are on lap 7. He's going to look to make a move on Nissany, and he's got the DRS open, he's got the ERS, he's got that superior V10 engine power, and it's a pretty easy overtake for him. As we come on to lap 8, I have caught up with Nissany, but he's starting to hold us up a little bit, and he leaves a little bit of a gap there, so I just squirt the throttle and send the car through. And we actually had Alonso closing up behind us as well, so I'm going to let Nissany deal with that. I want nothing to do with that Renault. And as they scrap, we're going to see if we can open up a bit of a gap, which we have done. And then Nicholas Latifi goes out of this session. So that's 2 DNFs now in this session, with Norris out there and Latifi out. So yeah, a bit of a chaotic race it would seem. But we've got a bit of a gap then, about a second to his teammate. Speaking of which, here's Alonso on lap 11. Nissany locks up, and Alonso's just going to nip up the inside and say thank you very much, I'll have that. But as we go on to lap 12 then, it looks like the medium tyre runners are coming in. So there's Albon, I think one of the Andretti Haas cars came in as well, I think it was Magnussen. So we're going to gain a couple of positions on these guys. Now it's all about pace, but Sainz and Stroll up ahead are having a bit of a scrap, as Sainz is trying to work his way through the grid and he gets the move done on Stroll. We've also got Alonso closing up behind us, but those medium tyres are really starting to go off now, and you'll see here as we catch up to Stroll, we just have so much later on the brakes. We have the superior grip now at this point in the Grand Prix, So if he's not going to come in, we're just going to take this position off him as we go up his slipstream DRS open. Very easy down the main straight with that extra speed, the reduced drag with that rear wing open, and we're just going to nip it up his inside, and that's us then up into P11 now, that is, but we still have a pit stop to make, remember, so we'll see what happens there as we come through this last section. But there's a yellow flag up ahead of us, so let's see what that's all about, and it looks like it's this man Charles Leclerc going slowly. Surely he's not going to DNF from 2 races in a row with mechanical issues. It looks like it is, and things go from bad to worse for the Scuderia, as here's Carlos Sainz, and he's just going to go straight to the back of Leclerc, and that's going to be a double DNF for the Scuderia Ferrari. We managed just about to miss that, but we're gonna nip into the pits now as the safety car comes out, and that's Alonso out of the session. As we come into the pits, what happened to Alonso? We'll take a quick look at that as he's coming around the same corner, and he just goes into Leclerc as well, one of the Ferraris, Leclerc or Sainz. So that's 3 big names out of this Grand Prix. Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, Norris in the McLaren is out as well, and Latifi, so 5 DNFs. But we use the opportunity to get a free pit stop. We are going to have to do a couple of extra laps on the mediums, but it shouldn't be too bad. But here's how things look then. You've got the 2 Red Bulls, then it's a McLaren Mercedes, then the 2 Mercedes monster cars, then it's Ocon in the Renault, then it's Zhou in the Audi, then Tsunoda in the Jaguar, then it's the Andretti Haas of Magnussen, and then ourselves. But here we go then, back racing once again onto lap 17, and we're on the medium tyres now, and everyone else who came in, they're on the hards. Now at the end of this race, we are going to struggle, because we have to do a couple of extra laps on the mediums, and once they wear out, they are really kind of horrible. But for now, we've got to use the pace, the extra pace we have, and you can see there, closing up the gap to Magnussen. We're absolutely flying on this safety car restart, and it's not going to take us long before we can start thinking about going on to the attack on the very next lap. This is lap 18, we're down the main straight, plenty of ERS used. We look up the inside of Magnussen, but we're not quite close enough. As you can see, the grip we get out the corner as we come into this kind of fast flowing sector 1 section. This is where we're going to have the biggest advantage, I think, with the tyres, and we're going to go take a wide entry, switch it to the inside, and it's a beautiful move there on Kevin Magnussen, very similar to what we did with Nissany, but that's 1 car down, and we already have a second gap from him. So these medium tyres really working at the early stage of this stint. Lap 19 then, and it's our old pal Yuki Tsunoda. We're right on the back of him, and once again he's on hard tyres, so we need to try and make short work of him if we can, looking round the outside in this tight, technical, twisty section up to the inside, and it looks like we're going to get that move done. He looks for the switchback as we have a bit of a snap of oversteer on the exit there, but there we go, that's another position. P7 we're up into now, so this could be another quite high points paying position for us, as we've got one of the Audis up ahead of us, and I fancy us catching him, Zhou Guanyu that is, while he's on the hard tyres and we're on the mediums. We are running out of laps though, lap 22 we're on now, and we need to get the move done sooner rather than later before these tyres go off the cliff. But we're closing up within a second, and you can see around that long right hander we have so much more grip, so the medium tyre still the quicker tyre, I think, at this point in the race, but for how much longer is the question, as we took up into his slipstream then, and we're going to look for a move, maybe not into the hairpin, but on the main straight into the next hairpin, or the back straight, sorry, as we're going to have the DRS, we're going to have ERS. He does get a pretty decent exit there, does that Audi. It is quite high up on the performance charts, but they haven't scored any points yet this season, so we're going to have the DRS open, using plenty of ERS, and just fly up the inside, but he's going to have the better line round the outside. He's going to have more grip on the exit, and we're going to send it up the inside. A little bit of contact made, we go a little bit deep, he gets a switchback move on us, and for now the Audi Sauber car holds on for that position. But once again, lap 23, same place. We go to the inside, kind of fake the move. We're going to try the outside this time. There seems to be more grip round there, but we just go a little bit deep into the corner. We try it up the inside once again, and this time we're going to get the move done. Or are we? As that Audi comes straight back at us with that V12 engine, we look for a switchback where it just parks it on the apex, and there's no way past for us. And all the time we're doing this, Tsunoda's going to be gaining back on us. So we really need to get this move done pretty sharpish as we come on to lap 25 once again on this back straight. DRS open, ARS in the slipstream. We've got to make this move on Zhou Guanyu. We go up the inside, and this time we get the move to stick. We just go a little bit wide on purpose just to kind of squeeze him out a little bit. But there's the move done. But with only 3 laps left to go, it's now time for these tyres. They're going to be screaming out basically, and I think it's going to be the crossover point where the hard tyres are going to be the quicker tyre as we come on to the second to last lap. Zhou Guanyu comes back on the attack as he goes up the inside. We go for the switchback, but he's going to fight this back. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. He jerks the steering wheel to the left there very aggressively, and yeah, that's us back down into P7, but we're not going to give this up even if his tyres are going off. And you'll see there we still have a little bit of extra grip around that corner, but we just can't seem to get the line right. As we look up the inside round here, we cut the curb a little bit. The FIA didn't see anything, so we're alright, and that's us back into P6. But I'm kind of kicking myself here because now he's going to have the DRS down this main straight. And Tsunoda, because me and Zhou have been fighting so much, Tsunoda, he's joined the party now. So once again at the end of a race we're going to be battling with Yuki Tsunoda, and this time one of the Audis is in the mix as well. But we'll see what happens then as we come into this hairpin. They're not quite close enough to make a move on us yet, so we just have to kind of park it on every apex and bring this car home in P6. That would be a massive finish for us. Remember, with all the DNFs we've had, they're all like top teams. So the Renault of Alonso, both Ferraris out of this race. The McLaren Mercedes of Norris, he's out. So 4 possibly points paying positions as we squeeze out Zhou Guanyu there. And it was quite an aggressive move, but after he was kind of jerking his car all over the place at the start of the lap, I think I'm a bit entitled to give him a bit of a taste of his own medicine. But here it is then, the last lap of this Grand Prix. Can we hold on for a P6 position finish? Remember, in terms of the Constructors' Championship, we're actually level on points with Jaguar, who we've got in as mirrors there, kind of just behind, waiting for his opportunity. I think Tsunoda is waiting for Zhou Guanyu to make a move and possibly following through as we come through this first sector. I still have the grip at least through there, but as we come round this kind of right to left, it's really kind of shaky coming out of that corner. The AI much better on the exit there, and once again it looks like Zhou Guanyu is going to make the move up the inside of the hairpin going onto the back straight. We have a bit of a squirm of oversteer. We hit Zhou Guanyu a little bit there, some minor contact made, but we don't have the DRS. The other 2 guys do, so we're going to have to do something really special into this last corner if we want to get that P6, and we absolutely send it 3 wide for a moment there. A little bit more contact made with that Audi, and we've kind of bullied him off track a little bit, and that's invited Tsunoda back, and now he's all in his mirrors, and once again it's us and Tsunoda scrapping it out right at the end of a race. I wish I'd have picked him as my rival at the start of this episode, because this is turning into a proper rivalry we're having. There are only 2 more corners to go then, and can we hold on to finish for P6 in the American Grand Prix, the USA Grand Prix? And it looks like we can, and that's going to be another amazing finish. Like we did in Mexico, with some of the big teams kind of DNFing, it's left a couple of points positions open for us, and we've once again taken full advantage of that, pitting under that safety car as well. I think that helped us out a lot. With all the carnage and chaos, we took advantage, and yeah, it's a really good finish for us.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they secured here.
Meanwhile, it's a 1-2 for Red Bull. Mercedes Monster on the podium as well, with both Ferraris out. So Mercedes Monster, actually, they could be the dark horses of this championship, as they've had a few consistent results. Ferrari kind of floundering about a bit, but Red Bull looking very, very strong though, so we'll see what happens with them as the season progresses. Very early days, obviously, it's only the third round of 16. We'll see what happens, like I say, as things progress, but for us that's a massive 8 points for us, and I'm not sure what happened to Ricciardo. He were out of the points as well. Maybe pitting earlier on with that damage, but with all those big teams out of the points, that's really opened things up for us in the championship. As you see, Albon in the Williams, he scores a point, and one of the Andretti Haas cars, Magnussen, he scores a point. So for the championship, we're still in P9, just behind Norris now, as he had a DNF. Obviously Fernando Alonso, he's had 2 DNFs in a row, so things not good for him. But there's Tsunoda right behind us with 10 points. And it's turning into a right rivalry, is this. I'm enjoying it very much. But Audi Sauber, they get their first points with Zhou Guanyu scoring 4 points there. Bottas, unfortunately, still unable to score. But yeah, Toyota and Williams also scoring points as well. So everyone on the grid has some points to the names, which is great to see. We're still in the P6 spot then. Jaguar 2 points behind us. Then it's Audi Sauber and Andretti Haas, 4 points apiece. Then you have Toyota with a couple of points and Williams on 1 point. But that's it for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, remember to leave a like and hit subscribe to keep up with this series. And I'll see you all in the next one.